This is a practicing lawyer that happens to be in the same building I am, Pavilion in Jenkintown, Pennsylvania. This wonderful lawyer with over 40 years of experience has evolved into something that is mind-boggling. How do you take lawyers and have lawyers help you and you help them, and the two of us help people that are disabled into going into their own home-based business? Larry and his team doing an incredible job. They picked up and done Disability University, but their contacts are nationwide. They're legends in their own time when it comes to disability and all the legals about disability. Larry, I'm thrilled to tell you, is now working with us on a program that's going to take, once he settles the issue for the disabled, once he collects for them whatever money is due to them. Now, what do they do for the rest of their life? Well, the answer is home-based businesses. By definition, they're disabled. What could be better than they don't have to go out of their home? Take the floor, Larry Levin. Knock their socks off, baby.
Once again, Burl, you've said it all. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to share my ideas, my thoughts, and my feelings with your audience and the rest of the world. So, Disability University, a joint venture between my firm, we're called the Bulldog Lawyers, Shore Levin, and the law firm of Markov Mittman, the Disability Guys. Last week I promised I would talk about something very near and dear to my heart, and it's headline-driven, unfortunately, again this year, and that's the plight of the veteran. Not just the veteran that has recently come home or recently been engaged, but veterans that actually go back as far, though we have some, that are still fighting with the Veterans Administration ever since they were discharged from the service of this country in World War II. Believe it or not, still fighting. So it isn't just veterans that you read about today, and that's enough of a tragedy. It's all veterans. In fact, in our book, the book on veterans claims, and I invite anyone who has an interest in this or has connections with veterans organizations to contact us at BulldogLawyers.com, 866-GO-BULLDOG. It's my firm that has the most familiarity with veterans benefits, and we send them this little booklet. It's a grand little thing, and we've summarized just what is involved in this journey to justice, because, as we've discovered, the formula here, and Burl touched upon it, the formula for Bulldog Lawyers and Markov Mittman, the Disability Guys, and basically the Disability University, which is disabilityuniversity.org. Our mission starts with shepherding, in this case the veterans, through a journey to justice. And I got to tell you, I've been doing this 42 years. This is the hardest, the most complex, the most frustrating journey that there is. I don't care what insurance company, what defendant, what corporation you're up against, the hardest journey I've ever had to shepherd clients through is through the Veterans Administration. But once they go through that journey to justice, they're now ready to escape the prison of disability. They don't even really understand that they're in that prison, but they're now ready to escape. They have their grub stake. They have their awarded benefit. Now what do? They graduate into a better world through the Disability University. And how do they do that? Well, they use the asset that most disabled people don't realize that they have, but it's the key to getting out of that prison of disability, and that's the asset of time. So they have the time. Now what do? And that's where Burl's BizOp University comes in. And it's a dream come true for Brian and myself to have this resource available. And as Burl said, we've realized as we've launched this venture over the last 6 months that we have resources, especially from the veteran standpoint. The veteran is always wary of somebody trying to take advantage of them. Why? Because people have taken advantage of them. And there's only a handful of lawyers in the whole country and a handful of organizations that are willing to help legitimately. And here's an opportunity. And what does the veteran have that is a desirable asset? The discipline. He has the discipline and the training to take on a job and see it through, especially when you can see a benefit at the end. So that's what the plan is. And in the next 4 appearances that I make, I wanted to talk, because you can't just go through this veterans program all in one fell swoop. It's just too complicated. And the booklet by the way, the book on veterans claims does touch upon these things and gives some really good guidance. But there's a segment of it that you need to know about right from the get-go when you're thinking about pursuing a claim for veterans benefits. And most veterans are reluctant. They're proud people, men and women. They serve their country, and they're not looking for a handout. But it isn't a handout. Believe me, it's not a handout. It's something they've earned and deserve. So someone who is seeking to qualify for veterans benefits, they fall into one of these 7 categories. They suffer from a disease or a disability that they acquired while they were in the military, the most common of which is usually an Agent Orange related, so that's a Vietnam-era veteran, but not just Vietnam. We used Agent Orange in Korea and the Philippines in World War II. So it's a condition that they acquired in service. It may be even as a result of some sort of inoculation that they were given. In the first Gulf War, all kinds of inoculations were given to our veterans, and they came back with what was called Gulf War syndrome. And while the VA knew what was wrong with these vets, they didn't until lawyers like myself uncovered the truth. Or you could qualify because the condition you had before you went into the service was aggravated while serving. Or you could qualify because you suffer from a condition whose symptoms, while they didn't start while you're in the service, began within a year after discharge. You also have a right to make a disability claim because of symptoms that were delayed in manifesting, such as exposure to asbestos. We've talked about that before. Your disability can be caused by some other service-connected condition. So you might have a diabetic condition caused by exposure to Agent Orange, and it results in a heart problem secondary to your diabetes. You can make a claim for disability because of care caused by the VA, and now we're hearing all about that. And believe me, what you're hearing today only scratches the surface. Service-connected VA mistakes in medical care are legioned. They're less than they used to be, but they're still plentiful. You may be eligible for disability benefits because of a non-service event that aggravates a service-connected disability. So that's just a summary of how you may be eligible, and that's the first step in the beginnings of the journey to justice. If any of you who are listening today are interested in more information, or you have relationships with other veterans organizations, please feel free to contact us at BulldogLawyers.com, 866-GO-BULLDOG, or thedisabilityguys.com. That's Markov Mittman. We'll be happy to supply you with the book on veterans benefits, and we also publish books on workers' compensation benefits, Social Security benefits, and while I mentioned this for the first time last week, I've authored a book back in 2006 that I think can help anyone. It's called Power of Attorney, and it's a book that is based upon Napoleon Hill's classic Think and Grow Rich, and it's taken some of the success elements that I've discovered, accompanying my clients to their journey to justice, that can stand anyone in good stead. So feel free to ask. We'll be happy to send any one of those out. So, Burl, once again, I appreciate the opportunity. We'll be back with Part 2, Part 3, and Part 4 of the saga of veterans benefits. Thank you very much.
Woo-wee, kids. Who would ever dream you get a team of genius lawyers with 40-some years experience, with the recognition that the rest of the world doesn't give a damn about? How am I going to help the disabled? How am I going to help the disabled veterans? How am I going to do things for them besides win trials for them so that they can indeed spend the rest of their life as the best of their life? And by God, the genius of Larry Levin did it. Thank you so much, Larry.